I'm Erin, and welcome to Grammy Goes. Join me as I demo my Ford Transit 350, build it out, and travel in it. Come along for the ride, it should be fun. This past weekend, I spent some time thinking about the bench seat that I'm going to be attaching some seat belts to, and I decided that for it to be structurally sound, I needed to design a metal frame that would be anchored to the chassis of the van. Through my work, I'm fortunate enough to know some metal fabricators, so I sent them my drawing, and they sent me a picture of the work in progress, and I can't wait to see this after it's been powder coated and ready to go into the van. This is the location where the bench will be anchored to the bottom and sides of the van. For the next part of my build, it was time to buy another tool. I bought a compound miter saw, and if you can't tell by the picture, I'm pretty excited. The most recent thing that I've done on the van, and I didn't videotape the process, honestly, because I just wanted to get it done and not spend time trying to figure out camera angles, so I apologize for being so lazy. But what I did is I added the framing to the roof of the van, which is what I will be attaching my ceiling to. And I used 2x2 here, countersunk these screws, and drilled straight into the metal, so this is nice and sturdy. And I did it across here, and because I didn't want it to go straight across and drop down, I cut into pieces so that I would get the same angle up here as I got here. And I did the same thing all the way down the van so that I would have an angle to the ceiling itself and not lose a bunch of head height by going straight across. So what I did here is I just took, I guess this is 1x3, and I cut it into pieces, and I used self-tapping wood to metal screws so that I captured this metal here, and it is very, very sturdy. Whew, that's hot. Now, for the fans themselves, I had to screw, for this one, it was, well, let me show you the back one, because it was much, much simpler, because you can see here, whoops, the screws that go through, and I used long screws that drilled here and then into the metal frame. So this is very, very sturdy. And I did the same thing on both sides. So I created this frame that is 14 by 14 inside diameter, and it fits perfect so that when I get the ceiling in, I can put the, I can't find my finger. Let's see where it is. There it is. I can put the flange that goes around the entire fan. It's kind of slips up in between this plastic trim and this face plate of the fan. So that gives me the wiggle room to be able to do that. Sorry for the sunshine there. So I framed this one out. And like I said, it was so much easier because it had the ribbing on the top of the van on both sides that I could drill into. The front fan was not as simple because there is more space between the ribbing on the ceiling. So I created the same frame, and it's a little bit not plumb, I guess. It's a little higher to the ceiling here than it is here. Well, I shouldn't say that. It actually is. I had the van leveled out, but the van starts to slope as you go towards the front. So this side is touching, and this side is about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch off. So what I did is I pocket screwed these frames together And then I took a pocket screw here. I could have done two, but I felt like I didn't need to because these two screws back here keep it from twisting back and forth like this. So I did a pocket screw here and screwed the 2x2 into the 2x2 frame. And then I notched it here and here and drilled straight up into the framing of the van. And I did the same thing on this side. This side was a little less of a span to go through. But all in all, it's very sturdy. And once I get all of the ceiling tongue and groove attached and the tongue and grooves are all put together, everything's going to be great. And then on the edges, on the outside edges, of course, I'm going to have cabinetry. So everything is going to hold everything in place. So here's where you can see I used my jig to do the 2 pocket holes. And I basically screwed this into the outside piece, screwed this into the outside piece, screwed this one into the outside piece, except I turned the wood so the pockets are on the inside. Don't know how that happened, but it did. And same thing here. So that's it. I'm so glad to get this done. Here you can see the pocket screws on the back. And on this back side, I needed to angle these a little bit. So I just used my Tack Life. It's like a little Dremel almost, but it has sanding discs because I don't have a, what do you call it? A router. So I just used that to trim those down a little bit so that they pushed up all the way to the top of the van. So that is what I accomplished yesterday. And like a broken record, it took longer than I anticipated. Thank goodness my son-in-law, well, actually both sons-in-law, Ernie came by and he showed me a trick on how to use these wood to metal self-tapping screws because I was having a devil of a time making it work. And so he showed me that, which worked out awesome. And then Ryan came by and he was on his way to his parents' house, and I was having a hard time still getting my drill not to slip inside of the screw holes because sometimes I just don't have enough muscle to push hard enough to get that drive. Probably one of the reasons I was having a hard time with the getting the screw to tap through the metal. But I was having a hard time with that, and he said that his dad has an impact drill and that it is better to use that to eliminate that, you know, jumping out of the screw head. So he went down and got that from his dad, who lives right down the street, and brought that over for me to use. So I was able to do that to finish my roof. So you can see how this is a little, you know, not level. Like that side is way closer than this side. But I can work that out when I'm getting my ceiling put in. I'm not too worried about it. That's it. It's hot in here, so I am gonna jump out of the van. Here's just a few pictures of the finished product. I still have the walls to do and a lot further to go, but it's great to be making progress. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.